I'd like to begin with the following statement. James Harden, you a bitch.
And man, will forever be one.
You know.
This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation.
Do not be surprised if you see a repeat of Thursday. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Oh yeah! What in the all types of blue hell was this weekend?
I don't damn well know, dude.
Nope. No clue.
Good morning. Welcome to the manic Cinco de Mayo Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. We are glad to have y'all with us as we still try to figure out what the hell happened Thursday. The first hour is powered by Invader Coffee, fuel for the fearless. Me and the dog and Vic Ala are here with you, bringing you into your Monday. And what the hell was that?
What happened?
I'm gonna say this. I'm usually not right most of the time. So when I am right, believe me, I'm gonna sit there and crow about it.
Well, you saw what I was doing when we came in. You saw what I was doing when we came in.
Yep.
I was eating crow in the form of a sausage McGriddle. I was eating my crow.
Ain't nothing wrong with saying it with your chest when you write about some shit.
Yeah.
Hey.
I was right because I knew this was going to be one hell of a matchup.
That should have been the Western Conference Finals. Of course, we're talking about the Dubs and the Rockets.
It should have.
That should have been the Western Conference Final. No disrespect to the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? None. But that Warriors-Rockets series that just went the distance,
mm-hmm.
and no disrespect to the Minnesota Timberwolves either.
And there's a button you got to press because the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, pulled it out in a miraculous performance on...
You mean this
one? You mean
This one.
Game 7.
That's the button.
103-89 was the final, and it wasn't even Steph that led him. It was Buddy Hield.
Yep, Buddy
That
Hield was
carried
the
him.
hero.
Buddy
33
Hield
points, 3 assists, 3 boards.
We'll talk all about that after the break, but I want to lead with something else.
Okay.
Matter of fact, give me this button here. I'm going to look at another game 7.
Okay.
James Harden, you a bitch.
Here we go.
You are Houdini incarnate. Because every time a game 7 shows up, you disappear. Every single bleeping time.
That is true.
Man pulled his best John Cena impersonation.
Right, because
I don't think
nobody's seen him.
At least John Cena has titles to his name. What the hell does James Harden have? Not a goddamn thing. Oh, yeah, listen. I had people all weekend telling me, you don't want this smoke when it comes to James Harden.
Apparently,
Just plain bring it. Because
James Harden doesn't want smoke with the basketball either.
Look, James Harden is a bitch. James Harden is a fool. James Harden is a false basketball player.
I'll say this. At least he contributed something with 13 assists. But 7 points in 35 minutes. What, 7? Sir.
7 points.
In a game 7.
In a game
7 where he played 35 minutes.
7 points.
35 minutes.
35 minutes in a
Game 7.
And I get it. Sometimes you're going to have bad shooting nights. You're going to get cold.
I understand that.
But
You're
7?
supposedly James Harden. And
Exactly.
I capitalize the word supposedly.
You're supposed to be one of the toughest players in the NBA, according to some.
Who told that lie?
Wait. Better button. BGS.
Now that's some bullshit.
And you keep proving it, James. You're on your 5th team in your 15th season. You have not a title to show for your name. You have a false scoring title when people were trying to come at me when he said, oh, he averaged 37 points per game. Yeah. How many threes did he take during that season? And then his name escapes me. Daryl Morey's dumbass wants to compare James Harden to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You stupid son of a bitch. There is no way you can compare the two. MJ is up here. Harden is below the floor. By the way, in the season where Michael scored 37 points per game, you know how many 3-point goals total he took in 82 games?
How many?
A dozen. In 82 games. And now, I was listening to Damon Amendola and his podcast before I came on today.
Mm-hmm.
When it's game 7, you can always count on one thing: James Harden disappearing.
Yeah.
Like I called him a few moments ago, Houdini incarnate.
3 things that you can count on that are inevitable: death, taxes, and James Harden missing a game 7.
I want to take a look. I did take a look at the last 2 game 7s that James Harden played, and one word describes them both.
Mm-hmm.
Boring.
Okay.
Boring.
Because James Harden, you didn't do a damn thing. 7 points. And you're supposed to be this all-time leading scorer? Hey, guess what, James Harden?
You're out.
And this was a game where they kind of need some help scoring. Kawhi Leonard basically led the charge with 22 points, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds. But he needed help.
He
Because
wasn't
Jones
getting
Jr. was the only one that was like second right now at 12, 0, and 2. Actually, Brown had 13.
Christian Brown.
Christian Brown. Like there was not a lot of scoring to go around, and this was the game. If this is why this is why I laughed so hard when the Clippers said that James Harden was their cornerstone for winning titles. How's that worked out for you, Clippers?
Dear LA Clippers, you suck. Just like you always have since you've been in Los Angeles, no matter if it's the LA Sports Arena, Staples Center, or the whatever the hell it is, Intuit Dome. You know what? Next year, I don't see you making the
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
matter of fact, to draw on Mad TV, this is what I expect for the Clippers next year.
Lowered expectations.
More like we're going to get a name change next year and it's going to turn into the Out of It Dome.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing into it about the Intuit Dome, especially since it's the home of the Clippers. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. When the Clippers tried so hard, especially under Doc Rivers, to establish their identity because they will forever be the younger brother / whipping boy of the city of Los Angeles, period.
Yep.
Yep.
Same with the Angels, but I got more on them later. The Clippers causing damage.
Stop the cap.
You're talking about a team that's made the Western Conference Finals one time. And they got spanked by the Phoenix Suns, who in turn got spanked by the Milwaukee Bucks. Matter of fact, you know what, Clippers? I have one sound and one thing that can describe your entire existence since you moved from Buffalo to San Diego, then from San Diego to Los Angeles. And it's a series of these.
Oh, you know, actually, I was thinking of a better one. This one.
You're screwed. Yeah, you're totally screwed.
They were screwed when they moved from San Diego to Los Angeles and tried to copy the Laker logo and everything about them when all they've been doing is taking a series of these. And you counted on James Harden.
But think about this: when the Clippers were failing, when Westbrook was there, guess who they blamed? They blamed Westbrook. And now look at where he's at.
Yeah, playing off the bench in Denver.
Guess it wasn't necessarily him, now was it? You decided to keep James Harden's clown ass, and look where it got you.
If I were a member of the Los Angeles Clippers from top to bottom, I'd be thinking this.
Now that's some bullshit.
They should call it the Sharman Center for Sharman Harden.
Sharman.
And it's a toilet bowl.
It's a toilet bowl, and they're soft as Sharman Harden in, well, any playoff game, but especially a game 7. Listen, if you want to believe in the Clippers, go right ahead. I haven't and never will. Any smart thinking fan, any smart or conscious NBA fan will know never, ever, ever, ever to trust, choose, or pick the Clippers in a playoff series. Because at the end of it, you are going to hear the following question.
How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up?
Which they did again.
You lose.
No stato.
Nope.
Finish. You actually thought look, I love you, playmaker, but I have to ask you this question. You actually thought the Clippers were going to do something in the playoffs?
You fool!
I was about to hit that button. I knew where you were going, and I was actually just about to hit that.
I felt like Joe Budden. Why?
Even better, in Game 7 or lacrosse Game 7, well, it's not even about the Clippers. It's about James Harden. In Game 7, James Harden plays like. Remember 2018 against the Golden State Warriors? He played like straight up in the second half, and they lost at home.
Here's the thing, though. I just talked about Westbrook, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doubled up on points with less time.
As I said,
16 points in the game.
As I said,
hilarious.
James Harden in a Game 7 always plays like and will forever do so. Period.
No, he plays like trash.
You mean this?
Trays, 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 trays. Trays, 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 trays.
I think we should actually bring up a word that's been used by one of my good friends and my sensei Drew Willingham. James Harden, you are a grade A dumpster pelican.
That's an insult to the dumpster pelican. That's a great insult to the dumpster pelican. Matter of fact, you can classify James Harden's career in one word.
How my boy Carmelo Hayes say it? Put the fries in the bag, son. You're washed.
Give me this button. James Harden, as long as I've watched you try to play NBA basketball, you are a complete and utter total failure. Dumpster Pelican can't even describe your 15-year career with a few different teams chasing a championship, which you will never get, never come close to, and never have. As a matter of fact, since your Oklahoma City days, and you decided to force a trade out of Oklahoma City to Houston because you thought you were the man, and all you have been is this.
You're screwed. Yeah, you're totally screwed.
Now get your bitch ass out of the NBA and leave us real basketball fans alone, will you please? That's Snowman's take. What is yours? Coming up next, Golden State's buddy rides to the rescue and the chef cooks him late. Snowman in the morning, back in the deuce. Are you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code SNOWMAN for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze claw.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
grown-ups take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
The spirit of battle is a powerful force. It's a force that drives us, pushes us beyond our limits. It's a fire in our hearts that fuels our determination, our commitment, our strive for greatness. Every challenge faced, every obstacle overcome, it sharpens our skills and fortifies our resolve. This relentless pursuit of excellence makes the journey so exhilarating. And the victory, it makes the victory sweet.
Hey everybody, Snowman here. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you sign up and use the code SNOWMAN, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Need to dole out some thanks for last Thursday for the absolute masterclass that Cole Johnson put on us.
Mm-hmm. I still can't believe I got called a freaking leprechaun.
We were talking before we came on the air, and for those of you who saw the end of season service for LeBron and the Lakers, the comments were flying into me and to the rest of the crew, and they centered around 3 words: can't stop laughing.
Yep.
Nope.
Now, Jody knows how nuts we are here on the morning show.
Yep.
All right. She's one of the producers of the show. Okay. She's our in-studio producer and one of our coordinating producers. When she saw that, oh, screw it.
We got time to kill.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What?
It is time once again.
Oh, no.
For the annual end of season LeBron James.
Oh, my child, welcome to the service. What can I do for you today?
Bro, don't go. Bro, don't go.
Yes.
I can't do it.
When that cry happened.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
When that cry happened,
y'all got to understand. If you guys weren't here for Thursday, right? Snowman was laughing so hard throughout the entire show.
I was.
That he said, you know what? I'm making a second decision. We're going to shut down at the end of the hour.
Yeah.
We're going to do a 1-hour show, right?
Listen,
so I was
like, was tired. We all were in agreement. In fact, we decided this during a break.
Mm-hmm.
We were exhausted. We were spent. And we spent the entirety of the first hour picking at LeBron and the Lakers. So I said, you know what? Let's be nice. Let's end it after an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We all can go get some extra sleep, do whatever we need to do around the house.
Well,
and
that
then,
changed.
And then I see Shane say, oh, we ain't stopping nothing. We ain't ended up.
I hear the pop of someone coming in backstage.
Yep.
I look down and I'm like, we ain't stopping shit.
Say we're taking breaks.
Brian notices it right after I say that. I hear the biggest oh no. And I'm like, we have to go to break.
So we'll take a break. We'll be right back at this. And I went to the bathroom. I come back just in time for the Save the Star, and I see that picture. And what was with Luca's teeth? Luca like he's gonna eat LeBron. He was gonna eat Bronny. And I hear someone say, "We're gathered here today to celebrate."
Now listen, there's a
James.
There's a backstory to this. 2 years ago, when I was in Edinburgh, Indiana, Cole gave me the idea that he was going to do the end of season service after Bron and the Lakers got swept by the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, in the chat we have the great Tom O'Boyle. Thomas O'Boyle is showing.
Tom O'Boyle is in the house with us. Diggy as well from Norway. Gibbs.
And a couple of my peeps are lurking. I know that for a fact.
Now, folks, 2 years ago,
yes,
I'm out in the sun in Edinburgh, Indiana, enjoying the show. I tried 5 or 6 different times to eulogize the Lakers season, and I couldn't do it.
He laughed every time.
Every single time I broke. And it was getting toward the end of the show, and I kept saying, I've got to try. I've got to try. Then he shows up.
Right.
Again. With a gold and purple picture as his background, and I hear him crying.
In the background.
And I'm outside at Starbucks losing it.
Right.
I am cracking up laughing. I said, what?
Oh, Bron. I was in the office at the time.
You were. That was the week you were in the office.
I heard this. I rolled out of my chair. I was on my knees at my computer, dying. My friend Ed Diaz, bless his heart, was behind me. He jumped up. He said, "Victor, are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm fine."
You were wheezing.
I was wheezing. I'm fine.
You were wheezing.
I explained to him what happened. I went back on the phone and showed him, and he started laughing. While I was out there,
6 or 7 patrons came by, saw that picture, heard me, and looked it up. They walked away, holding their stomach, laughing at this shit.
When I say to people that Cole Johnson is the undefeated internet comedy champion of the world, that's not a catchphrase.
No.
That ain't no damn prediction.
That's not a gimmick.
That ain't no damn prediction. That's a spoiler.
That is a fact.
Spoiler nothing. That's a fact.
That is an absolute fact.
That's a fact. Okay? That's an absolute fact.
As I said, I did everything I could. I broke out both characters and I got my butt kicked.
You broke out both characters. I broke out a character.
And I nearly broke the commissioner out. And I couldn't do it.
No.
I couldn't break out the commissioner for a very good reason. I couldn't hold it.
No, there was no chance.
I could not hold my laughter. Now, it makes me laugh even more that Steph is in the second round and Bron is out.
Bron is out. That makes me laugh even more. And Steph is still in.
Steph is still in. Butler is still in. Joker, Ant-Man, all the good superheroes are still in the playoffs. But going back to Thursday, I could never play a segment in its entirety for Jody because she has the same goofy sense of humor as I and the rest of the crew. I tried playing that for Jody. She got to as far as the Bron cry and rolled over and laughed in her pillow.
Yep.
That's how nuts it was when the Don gets beat to shreds.
Yep.
When the father gets absolutely creamed with an uppercut.
Getting called a leprechaun.
Getting called it, yes. At the top of this segment, the father gets called a leprechaun. And then my dumb ass decides to couple it with the comment of the Leprechaun Legion.
Right.
We decided to couple it I decided to couple it. This is all on me with the comment of the Leprechaun Legion, which I'm making reference, of course, to
Notre Dame.
University of Notre Dame's rooting section in during basketball games, the Leprechaun Legion.
Yep.
I make that reference after the father gets called a leprechaun, and it was all over after that. It was all over.
It was all over.
There was just no way.
There was nothing.
And I nearly now y'all know what these represent, okay? I nearly put these on and I couldn't. I reached for them, I had them in my hand, and as soon as the passer said leprechaun, I walked out of here.
I think what was crazy was he pulled out both the Right Reverend Deacon Pastor Bishop, Aloysius Jenkins.
And
then he pulled out Ray afterwards.
Yep.
He did.
And I said, "You're under arrest." He said, "For what?" Public drunkenness, public intoxication. Well, I can't pack it away, so you probably got me on that one. This is why I say you gotta be careful when you decide to go character for character with Cole Johnson. His job is to make you break. Your job is to not let it happen.
I lost.
I did my damnedest not to lose, and I got kicked around twice.
I absolutely lost.
He dropped me with a Stone Cold Stunner. He dropped Dog with a pair of F5s. He dropped Victor with a tombstone.
Yep.
And walked out the ring.
Yep.
Bell didn't have to ring or nothing.
No, it's just a walk in, ass whooping, and leave.
Yep.
You know what I'm gonna do, folks? We're gonna play it.
Oh
yes,
in its entirety.
Here we go.
I know we came in here with it. Listen, I showed y'all this last week.
We had a plan today.
With a plan, okay? See this notebook? See that? This is what I had planned. This is what we had planned this morning.
We'll still get some of that in, but we gotta play some of the stuff that happened on Thursday.
Yeah, the second hour is going to be that.
Yeah.
The second hour, I will warn y'all right now. The second hour today and the second hour tomorrow is going to be insanity.
Yep.
Big time.
I'll tell you what, I'll let y'all behind the scenes of what we were going to do here. Dog and I sat here and talked for a good 15 minutes.
Yep.
And I said, screw it. We're taking tomorrow off. I already knew the segments I wanted to play, but then I realized Playmaker was due tomorrow because he texted me this morning, or he messaged me this morning, I should say, and he says, I'll see you Tuesday. All right. So half of the week's planned already.
Yep.
Right.
Half of the week's planned already. But while we're talking about great reactions, during football season, the dog produced some of the greatest reactions ever, especially in week 4 when the Patriots played my 49ers. But
Do we have to
I'll
go
get to
there?
those. I'll get to those in a minute. But if I have to choose a person who had the absolute greatest reactions during football season, I married her.
Mm-hmm.
Because anytime the fellas can hear from way on the other side of the house, my wife having a cuss fit
Yep.
over the Indianapolis Colts.
Yep. Not just that, but when you first debuted the commish, and she flat out ended the commish.
Look, the
sight
commish
on
did-
spot.
right on cue. Right on cue. I married a man from Chicago, not from the backwoods of Mississippi.
Yeah, right.
I took the glasses off and never donned them again. Never donned them again. Now, has she heard me do the commish since then? Yes.
Yeah.
She has. And she also said, "You're keeping that on the show, right? You're not bringing that there." Baby, it's staying where it is. But when I tell you, some of the fellas heard Jody's reactions to some of the plays the Colts made during the season.
Yeah.
Especially the late game against Denver.
Oh, yeah.
When my beautiful wife from the other side of the house in clear shot
Right.
goes, "Oh, what the fuck was that?" El finito.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Total wrap.
Because when I hear that from Jody, I couldn't call another play. I couldn't call another play. Victor, bless his heart, who has been my partner on the road for 17 years, kept saying, "Come on, you got to get back in the game, Snowman. Got to get back in the game." I couldn't.
No.
For one of the few times in 30 years, I could not get back in the game because Jody had me cracking up so hard I was under this desk.
Right.
And then my absolute favorite from her when she walked in while the Colts were playing the Jets. Check that. They were playing the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing the Patriots, and they were about to secure a walk-off win. And just as before they were getting ready to score, Jody opens this door, comes in, and says, "The Colts are losing. Why aren't you calling the game right?" Sick Diggy, wait a minute. Wasn't Grandpa Tiny originally from Mississippi? Yes, he was. Macomb, Mississippi, to be exact. But me trying to do that that deep Southern twang with all the fluid I drank that morning, it didn't work.
Nope.
All right. Let's get a little bit of business done. Matter of fact, yeah, let's get a little bit of business done. How about what the Warriors did in Game 7 last night in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it took them 7 games, but they got it done. And holy Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
They did the deed.
Oh, yeah.
In Houston.
I thought it was, I knew it was gonna go 7, but there was a part of me that kind of paused because after they took the 2 in California, I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna finish it now.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then Houston hung 131 on us in Game 5.
Houston came back like a house of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did.
But I have a question for the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Green, 8 points.
Yeah. One's best night for him.
Mm-mm.
That's about normal for him, except for 1 or 2 games during the series.
Yeah. Game 2 when he scored 38.
I'm
and
starting
I
to
want to say
question.
game 6.
I'm starting to question: is there ever been a player more useless than Dylan Brooks?
Yeah, James Harden.
How in the world you get 36 minutes and get 8 points? Well, you did score 1 more point than James Harden, so yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly who's more useless than Dylan Brooks. James Harden.
8 points.
8
in a game 7. Thompson with 24, Sengun with 21.
I like Alperen. Let me give the Rockets some props here. I like Alperen Sengun.
Yeah.
I like him.
I like Van Vliet.
And Amen Thompson.
I like Van Vliet as well.
Van Vliet got them back in the series.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Fred Van Vliet, who won a championship in 2019 with the Raptors when they beat the Warriors in 6 games, got them back in the series.
Yep.
With 2 incredible games, 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I love this kid, Sengun. Alperen Sengun from Turkey. All right.
He's gonna have a good career if he gets the right pieces around him.
Oh, he was no jive turkey from Alperen Sengun. He's gonna be a maniac for them.
Yeah.
If he stays put, Julian Edelman has been elected to the Patriots Hall of Fame. Cool. Now, can he get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Honestly, Go ahead. Shane Gunn could be the catalyst for the Rockets possibly making it to title town next year.
I'll tell you who's going to be their catalyst. Alperen Sengun in the post and Amen Thompson on the wing. Amen Thompson was a maniac in the third quarter. I got all kinds of love for these Houston Rockets. These young, up-and-coming Houston Rockets. They're going to be a problem next season.
Yes, indeed.
They're going to be an absolute issue.
For anybody.
Meanwhile, the Warriors move on. Steph gets another series more than LeBron does.
Oops.
And how about some predictions? What do you think? Can they take out Minnesota? I say they can.
That's going to be a tough that's going to be Ant-Man's one true test.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can they solve that? Can they solve the Warriors?
This might be, I would say right now, I would say Dubs in 6.
I will say this. I want to say Dubs in 6 also, because the Warriors do have the potential to steal 1, if not 2, at the Target Center.
Yes.
I will also say this. Given how hot Minnesota is, do not be surprised if it goes the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be surprised. And I talked with my buddy Michael Lyle about this, and Shane, you and I talked about it also. Don't be surprised if the Warriors, A, wind up the last team standing, and B, do only what the Lakers have done in recent times. At least 3 7-game series. If you go back to 1988, they went 7 against Utah. They went 7 against Dallas. And, of course, 7 against the Detroit Pistons in the World Championship Series.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sticking with my pick of Celtics Warriors in the NBA Finals. I'm sticking with that pick. It's going to get tougher each time. I know that much, because
yes.
you get past Ant-Man in Minnesota, you probably will have the Joker to deal with.
Yep.
I will say this. If they face Oklahoma City, they'll take them out in 5. If they face Denver, talking about the Warriors, it goes the distance.
Well, let's take care of business here first.
Yeah, let's see what the Warriors do against the Wolves. My official pick is going to be Warriors in 6. But I also will say, do not be surprised if it goes the distance.
And the great thing about this one is, again, it didn't have to be Steph, and it didn't even have to be Jimmy. It was Buddy Hield who took the top honor.
33 points.
He had a game.
9 3-point field goals. Steph came on late, but Buddy Hield saved the Warriors' ass in the first half with 22 points in the first half.
Even Draymond had 16.
Yeah, all you Draymond haters. Draymond had double digits. Take that.
Here's what kills me. Again, Draymond Green had more points than James Harden.
Hell, if you really want to do it right, if you really, really want to do it right, Draymond Green had more points than LeBron James did in Game 4 against Minnesota.
That's true.
I think we may have somebody else kicking around that may have a little opinion on this as well. We'll have to get to in a minute.
And I think bring him in now. Let's ask him.
Bring him in now?
I'll tell you 2 reasons why. 1, there's something we're going to roll during the second half. And 2, the Indiana Fever kind of messed up a promo yesterday, and Jay pointed this out to me. Let's bring him in.
From North Carolina.
Jay Spivey joins us from North Carolina. Good morning, Jay.
Guys, how you doing?
Mr. Spivey, how you doing?
I didn't know if I was early or late. I figured I'd come on now.
You're fine. In fact, you timed it perfectly. You pointed out a major error to me, and I'm glad you did. There was a promo that the Indiana Fever released, and it had a glaring omission.
An error.
A little one. Just a little one.
Yeah, because in the picture that Jay sent me, where was Caitlin Clark?
Nowhere to be found.
Wait, what? How did you miss that?
That's an excellent question.
Your big moneymaker, the person who has really brought eyeballs to not just the Indiana Fever product, but also the WNBA product. How do you miss that?
That's an excellent question to ask. I don't know. I don't know how you can even think about taking that picture without putting her in there.
Right.
It's the department. It's the promo department. And I hate saying that about the Fever, but that is the biggest glaring omission.
Nobody saw a problem with that while they were planning and or doing this.
Right. Like when Snowman, because we've done flyers and stuff, printouts like that before.
That we have.
You look at the printout, you look at it, you proofread it, make sure there are no typos, there are no errors. This is a big omission.
Victor, as I said, you and I have done promos like that before.
Yes.
Paper
and digital.
You don't overlook something like that.
No.
Especially
Caitlin
given the
should
fact,
be front and center.
Especially given the fact yesterday that she played at her alma mater in Iowa City.
And sold it out in less than a half hour.
And
for what they said during the broadcast yesterday, the average, not the ticket price, the average ticket price was $670.
Yikes.
At Carver Hawkeye Arena, which only seats 15,500.
And there were a lot of 22 jerseys in there, both Fever and Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And then for good measure, she pulls up from just behind where she made the NCAA record and just buried
it. Was even
one.
further away than the other one she made.
It was about 5 feet behind that.
Yeah, she just pulls up and buries it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but net. Never hit the rim.
And of course, it blew the roof off the joint.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the last shot she took.
Yeah, because they were up like 60 over Brazil.
She didn't play the fourth quarter.
Nope. She didn't have to. She did not have to. Now I want Jay to get into this. And I gotta step away for a few moments. But with everything that's going on now on her back going into her sophomore season?
Oh, she's always going to have a big target because of who she is. There are a lot of people who don't like her for a lot of reasons. None of them have anything to do with her on the court.
And that's sad to me.
Yeah.
That is sad to me that even with the new draft class that's in, even with everyone that's trying to make an impact with their team, the reason that the WNBA is afloat right now is still a moving target.
Yeah.
And yeah, I understand being upset that you couldn't really help. Not you, but any of the former players or current players couldn't help the CBA get a little better and get a little better amenities and this and that. But come on, she's been a big. I mean, their money's a little bit better. The fact they got charter planes now are better. It's just there's a myriad things that this happened because her existence.
The fact that preseason games are getting covered on ION and ESPN.
Oh no, there's no way in the world that game would have been on yesterday without her.
Oh no! I mean, the fact is, the Caitlin Clark effect is going to be a continuance thing. I mean, again, look at what happened with Michael, Larry, and Magic when they all came into the NBA. This is what Caitlin's now doing for the WNBA.
Now, I'll guarantee you. I mean, I haven't seen the ratings yet. My bet is that game yesterday way outdid both NBA games last night.
Oh, I mean, granted, it was game sevens, but still, yeah, I could guarantee it outweighed.
Well, I think it
both
was a
of them.
huge mistake not only having a game 7 at night, but you had 2 games at night when you had nothing on all day Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that's just dumb to me.
I mean, ESPN ran the Formula One race on ABC, so the main network was wide open to do something. They didn't do it.
Yeah, you had all day yesterday.
Yeah, exactly, and they had nothing going on.
And you had game 7 running. What time did it finish? Like 10:30 or 11, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, that makes no sense to me on a Sunday.
Right.
It's just bad planning. And they wonder why the ratings are down in the NBA.
Hey.
Well, that and the fact that, frankly, there's just way too much late game coverage. There's just really nothing to go on for because unless it's a specific market, no one's going to be watching the games. No one cares.
Also, unfortunately, what Cole had said Thursday does ring a little bit true, is that once the Lakers were out, a lot of fan interest also left.
Yeah.
Even though there are other teams. The Warriors, the Rockets were still playing at the time. The Timberwolves are still, are ready for their next start. The Cleveland Cavaliers, which I think should be a major story of their epic turnaround.
What's the NBA going to do if the Celtics, Warriors, or both do not make the finals? The ratings are going to be horrible.
The ratings are going to be in the shitter, dude. I mean, let's be real about it.
One or both of those teams is not in the finals. It's just going to be awful.
Yeah, barely anyone will end up watching it because, again, it's the major market factor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's really hurting is unless it's a major market team, nobody tunes in. It doesn't help when you have all these weird start times and then games compounding on top of each other.
Right.
Or the fact that the first round lasts an interminably long time.
Yeah, that can be a bit of a deterrence as well if you got 7 games going 13,
16
14.
or 17 days.
Yeah, that's pretty
ridiculous.
Rough. Yeah, I mean, I get travel days, I get this, and I get that, but still, there's got to be some point to it.
And I know the Thunder can't do anything about it, but they're going to get over a week off between games. You don't want that this time of the year.
Right.
No, I mean, the Celtics had, 3 or 4 days off anyway because of the Knicks series going as long as it did.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's like, come on here. I'm saying this as a Boston fan. We need to keep the reps up. So why not start the series, like a day or two after the other one ends?
It's all marketed toward TV.
Yeah, because they need to get all the proper circumstance, and the TV's going to always try and get like as many sponsors as possible. So,
well, that's what I don't understand about yesterday. There was literally nothing on yesterday, unless you want to count the WNBA preseason game. I mean, there was nothing on until 6:00 yesterday.
I mean, I mean, you had the Kentucky Derby going, who really gave.
I'm talking
two
about
crap-
yesterday. I'm not talking about Saturday. I'm just talking about yesterday.
Oh, yesterday, yeah, you had what? You had the
Nothing.
IndyCar race.
There
You
was
had the
nothing.
IndyCar race
Did both
on
games start
Fox.
late? Then did both games start late?
No, it was 6 and 8:30. 6 and 8:30 yesterday.
Why didn't you move one of those games to like 3 or 4?
Thank you.
Primetime
Well, how
ratings.
about
That's what they're
one?
going after.
One.
Yeah, but you don't have that many primetime teams.
No,
that
you don't.
garner that. Take one game, make that like a 2 to 3 o'clock game, and then put your primetime game on primetime.
Didn't they used to do that?
Yes.
You should do it all the time.
There were during the Bulls dynasty, there were times where their game would be on like maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock.
Bulls were off and on in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
I mean,
not uncommon to have a Bulls semifinal game or a Bulls final game go on at like 4 o'clock.
Well, we're getting ready to hit this mark here in a couple of weeks. But I remember vividly. Unfortunately, I was in a school district where we went to school on Memorial Day. Thankfully, they've changed that. But when I was in school, we went to school on Mother's Day. Oh, excuse me, Memorial Day. And when I came home those afternoons, there would always be like the Celtics or Sixers or Bulls or Pistons would always be on in the 80s and the early 90s on the early afternoon on Memorial Day. Well, now you're lucky you start a game at 9 o'clock on Memorial Day.
Right.
Yeah, unless it's baseball, you don't see that too often anymore.
It makes no sense.
No, it really
makes no
doesn't.
sense. It's like you
should
don't have
on Memorial Day. You should have afternoon baseball. You should have afternoon
Oh,
basketball.
man.
You should have afternoon hockey. Whatever's going on should be on the afternoon because nobody's gonna watch TV at night.
I mean, even during the Derrick Rose time in Chicago, there were games going on at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch yourself a game and then go. Like for me, when I was working UPS, because I started at like 6 o'clock at night, I could catch a Bulls game and then go to work. I don't understand why they feel they got to squeeze so much into such a small window.
Because they can't help it.
I just think yesterday was a huge misstep by playing 2 night games when you didn't have to.
And especially if it was blocked off by like by like location situations, because what if people couldn't see the other game, the Clippers Nuggets, because they were only stuck with watching Rockets and the Warriors.
Well, then you put Game 7 on at the later time instead of Game 1, which was the earlier time. That makes no sense either.
None. It's the timing of some of these games are ridiculous. Okay, and Victor, just to reiterate your point, just to reiterate your point, you can catch a game in the afternoon, and then you can go to work, later. Remember when NBA playoff games were played in the afternoon?
We literally just brought that up.
Memorial Day. It was always on Memorial Day.
Because remember, Snowman, there were times during the Bulls, some of the Bulls finals games were played at like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
You know, the first Bulls finals game was on a Sunday, and it was at 2:30 in the afternoon. Well, the broadcast started at 2:30. Tip was at 3 in the afternoon. You're done by 5. You still get time with your family while the sun's out.
Yeah.
When
you can go out and play basketball.
When's the last time you saw like an ALCS or a World Series game or NLCS game in the middle of the day?
1989.
Any
while.
basketball or hockey playoff.
For AL and NLCS, the last I can remember truly of an LCS game in the afternoon was 1989.
Well, World Series, you never saw. It's been
you never saw a World Series
years since it was a World Series.
It's been since the 80s that you saw a World Series game or an NBA Finals game in the afternoon.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the stupidest timing of things because they want to squeeze every primetime minute and every primetime commercial minute out of what's happening. I mean, hell, the Super Bowl. When I first started watching the Super Bowl, it kicked off at noon.
Yeah, and now as the pre-show
starts,
the pre-show starts at like 2.
That's what
let's
gets
be
me,
real.
guys,
The pre-show for the Super Bowl starts at freaking 10 in the morning. Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. That's
10 in
what
the morning,
gets
they
me,
go
guys.
all the way to 7.
Every league thinks they are the NFL, and they're not the NFL. The NFL is the only league that can really pull off playing at night and have huge ratings.
Right. Monday Night
That's
Football.
it. They're the only ones.
Monday Night Football.
It's everybody thinks of the NFL, and it's not like that. Quit trying to be like the NFL.
Be yourself. Be your own entity. It's just crazy to me.
Here's we're talking about network timing and how stupid some of the network timing is. All I got to mention are 2 words: Christmas Day.
Oh God.
Well, it's been an NBA stronghold for years and years and years, and now the NFL is taking it.
Just took it over.
It's
Took it
done.
over.
It's done.
The NFL just came in and slapped the NBA and said, "We're taking this day too, boys."
Now I told y'all I told you last year. I said when they first announced they were going to play on Christmas Day, I said and just watch. But not only are they going to play on Christmas Day, they're going to start playing Tuesday and Wednesday games. You just watch.
Yeah, they are.
Also consideration about how many more teams, how many more people are interested in the teams that were being played. You got to remember that if you're going to say that this is your day and this is your day to have games, you have to put the best games on out there.
And they never. And in the past 5 years. No, let me check that, because Jody brought this to my attention, and she just reminded me now. She's listening from afar, but she's checking in with us. She just reminded me now. They have not put their best games forward since 2015. And yes, I said 2015. That was the height of the Cavaliers-Warriors rivalry when they would play.
What are the chances that the Cavs get a primetime slot this Christmas? 0.
None.
Okay, so this was the game.
Or the Thunder gets a primetime slot this Christmas? 0.
None.
But I guarantee the Lakers will be playing at 3:30.
Mm-hmm. They'll get the afternoon primetime slot, and they haven't earned it. That's something.
And they'll get hammered in ratings by the NFL, whoever's playing that day.
Here's the games that were on just this past Christmas, right? This one where LeBron said that Christmas Day is our day, right? Spurs versus Knicks, Timberwolves versus Mavericks, Philly versus Boston, Lakers versus Warriors, Denver versus Phoenix. Ask yourself, how many games do you truly, truly, truly care about?
The best game of that,
I said.
The best game of that day was the Lakers and the Warriors, and that's because the Warriors wiped out a deficit to get back in the game. It took the Lakers until the end of the game to win the thing.
Unless you are a fan of those teams, you couldn't give 2 flying you-know-whats about the games that were on.
Well, they're not going to have that luxury this year. They've already announced they're going to play three Christmas Day games in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
They already announced that, so they don't even have that luxury this year.
So they have to put on the best teams.
The NBA is going to get smoked on Christmas Day this year.
They're going to get hammered.
They're going to get smoked. Okay, and plus at that time when the NFL does play their Christmas Day games, guess what? There'll be some playoff implications as well, because you're talking about between weeks 15 and 16,
right?
And one of the biggest draws.
There should be 2 weeks left after that week's games are. Yeah, so yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be between weeks 15 and 16 of the season. So the NBA is going to get smashed.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is the NFL isn't even putting those Christmas Day games on regular network.
Yes.
It's 2 on Netflix and 1 on Amazon Prime.
And the other one's on NBC.
Yep.
This year because they're actually the Christmas is on Thursday this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the thing about it is both games that aired this past Christmas averaged more than 24 million viewers.
Yep.
Yeah. Because KC and Pittsburgh and Baltimore versus Houston. To me, those are way more interesting games than what the NBA put together.
And if you go back 2 years on Christmas night, which was a Monday, Ravens 49ers.
Yes.
Smash the NBA ratings. And that was just one game. That was just one game. And the NBA ratings got absolutely hammered.
Again, I go back to everybody thinks of the NFL and they're not.
Right.
The NFL is a behemoth that nobody else is even remotely close to.
So why don't
they never will be close to?
Why just create their own identity?
They won't do that.
Nope.
Everybody wants to be the NFL and they can't see. it's basically narcissistic. They think they're
it's like what Playmaker had said about the basketball teams. Everyone wants to be the Warriors, and they're not.
No, they're not. Everybody thinks they're Steph Curry shooting 30 3-pointers a game.
Right. Right.
Why are
But
you
here's
7
the
feet
thing.
tall shooting 3-pointers?
Here's what I said about Steph Curry, and it rings true to this day, 16 years later. What the NBA as a whole is mad at, including the upper management, is that Steph Curry was a smart basketball player, and he did what? Class. He took an anomaly and turned it into a weapon.
And in essence, and this, I am not blaming Steph Curry at all for this. What he's done is phenomenal. He's easily one of the best players ever. But everybody thinks they're Steph Curry, and they're not. And in essence, because everybody does nothing but shoot 3-pointers anymore, the game is much for the worse.
And they don't do it, Jay. You heard me say this. They don't do it within the context of their offense.
No, it's
because
just
as soon as the Splash Brothers were formed and Steve Kerr took that weapon and turned it into a strategy. Thank you, Cole Johnson, for that. As soon as Steve Kerr made it a strategy and put it within the context of an offense, every other team in the NBA has tried to do the same thing with worse results.
But here's the problem, though. Steph and Clay are not the only ones who's done that. You can go back to the days of Larry Bird and Tony Kukoc and those guys. They did the same thing. The difference is that there were other guys said, I can't do that. What I can do is this. I can't shoot in the perimeter, but I can bang the low post.
There are a lot of guys who have no business shooting 3-pointers.
None.
Right.
None.
Why are you 7'2"?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Well, the word starts with A that I hate. You know my
analytics.
Yep. Absolutely.
Analytics are stupid.
You're gonna have 7 foot people who are 7'2" shooting 3 points. I guarantee you.
I'd rather he miss 3-pointers and make one than to shoot a 10-footer.
Look at Game 7 last night. When Steph couldn't get going from distance, what did he do? He
started going inside.
He started driving to the basket.
And that actually helped him for his outside shot later.
Not only that, part one, part two, he was setting up other players.
Right, absolutely.
He was setting up everybody. Everybody wants to be Steph Curry without Steph Curry's skills and without Steph Curry's knowledge.
Well, sometimes you got to realize, early on he didn't have it last night. It was obvious.
Exactly.
So he helped facilitate other players and they led almost the entire game last night because of that.
And let's be for real. The reason why Steph Curry decided to create that play style is because he didn't have the size to bang in the low post. He's speedy enough. He's fast enough. He doesn't have the size to go in there and bang with the big guys. So what does he do? He goes towards the backdoor cuts, and he also goes from distance. He makes you afraid of him from distance more than he is from the low post.
Do you know how many miles Steph puts in during a game? Just one game. I was given a stat that he runs at least 4 or 5 miles during a game with all the screens that he runs off of. Every time he cycles around, it just seems like he never gets tired. And since then,
with this, especially the NBA, even you see it in college and high school as well. But the way he plays is completely different than everybody else because he actually runs without the ball. You hardly ever see guys run without the ball.
They don't want to run without the ball.
They're stand still and hardly ever move.
They don't want to
dribble, or not even move at all.
They don't want to run without the ball. They don't want to move without the ball. Okay,
ISO.
Everybody wants to. James Harden,
ISO ball. James Harden, KD, Kyrie,
Joe Johnson.
Who moves less than James Harden does, especially when he has the ball.
They were called the ISO game for a reason.
It's just.
And I'll go back to Caitlin Clark. They were talking about she led the WNBA in turnovers last year. Well, yeah, some of it is on her, but a lot of it she thinks so quickly and sees the court so well, and nobody anticipates like she does that people don't anticipate what she's going to do next. Well, that's not on her.
And the best thing is they figured it out after the month-long break between
after
the
a
All-Star
while,
game and the Olympics, and they were allowed to get their legs under them, and Caitlin was allowed to get her legs under her. They figured it out, and during the second half of the year last year, they were the highest scoring team in the WNBA, averaging about 93 points a game.
I asked
And
this
I
question.
go back to, I said this to a friend of mine yesterday. I don't care what people say and all the crap I took from so many people for saying this. She should have been on the Olympic team because you're never going to get that exposure again.
I
don't care if she didn't play at all. She should have been on the Olympic team.
I asked a question. How many of you guys are fishermen or fishing fans? How many of you guys like to fish?
I like
Not
to fish.
me.
I'm a bit of a fisherman, and that's only because of my family.
I love fishing. Sometimes the fish get wise to what you're doing. Same baits, same hooks, same lines. Fish ain't stupid. They will get wise to what you're doing, and they'll start to avoid your bait actively. That's what happens with every player. You come up with something, guess what? They're gonna get wise to it. They're gonna start attacking you differently. They're gonna give you different defensive looks. You see it in football, you see it in basketball. They start to adapt to what you're doing. So what do? You come with something different. So yeah, should the turnovers for Caitlin be a little bit more? Sure, because teams are getting wise to what she's doing.
And here's the little sick Dicky just said: players are getting predictable. But here's where the Warriors are still unpredictable. Even though Houston, I can tell you, 3/4 of the game last night was sending a posse after Steph Curry. They did not want him to touch the ball. You know what the Warriors did? They took a piece of Houston's book and gave it back to them, and that's that zone. Difference being the players were switching around in the zone and kept Houston off balance, and also kept Houston off the boards.
Right.
Well, this is just. Well, let's just face it. Houston is going to be forced to be reckoned with in the next couple of years. Last night was just one of those first stepping stones to their being really good.
Yes,
I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree. I said it was going to go all 7 games. There were times where I got a little worried.
I mean, Cleveland's going to be good. Houston's going to be good. Oklahoma City's already really good. I mean, they're going to be around for a long time. And you got now. I know Houston is obviously a large market city, but still, they're not like in the elite of people watching them. Right. You're going to get in this thing now unless the Lakers somehow can get fixed. And who knows if they can or not. You're going to have a lot of small market cities that are really good.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be fun to watch and fun to watch them develop. We're up against the break, but we got Jay Spivey here. He's with us every single Monday. Jay, thank you so much. Love your knowledge, my friend. Love having you on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
I think
coming up next,
scoreboard updates too.
Oh, we are doing a scoreboard update. Matter of fact, Victor, why don't you knock that out for us right now before we go to break?
All right, let's go ahead and get started right now. So we'll start with the NBA as we talked about some games that have already reached the conclusion of their series. The Golden State Warriors finally knocked the Rockets out the box 103-89. The Clippers lose in a heartbreaking fashion and get knocked out themselves by Denver Nuggets 120-101. And the Pacers get the first blood against the Cavaliers 121-112. Today, we got some games going on. It's the battle in the Northeast. The rivalry as old as time. The Boston Celtics taking on the New York Knicks. Game 1 starts today at 6 o'clock. Also, Denver Nuggets take on the OKC Thunder at 8:30. And tomorrow we'll also have the Pacers and Cavaliers, and the Warriors will have their first run against the Timberwolves. Let's go ahead and also get into the MLB because, as unlike other places, we talk baseball here.
Yes, we do.
So yesterday's games, the Braves take on the Dodgers and win 4-3. The Cardinals beat the Mets 5-4. The Nationals beat the Reds 4-1. The Detroit Tigers smoked the Angels 13-1. Yikes. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. This is Detroit Tigers. Very terrifying. Go ahead.
Okay. The Twins beat the Red Sox 5-4. Padres they blinked the Pirates 4-0. The Kansas City Royals, you'll be happy to hear this, beat the Orioles 11-6. The Rays take out the Yankees and beat them 7-5. The Guardians beat the Blue Jays 5-4. The A's bounce back and win against the Marlins 3-2. The Diamondbacks smoked the Phillies 11-9. The Brewers blank the Cubs 4-0.
Thank you, God.
The White Sox get a winner against the Astros of all teams, 5-4. Rangers over the Mariners, 8-1. The Giants over the Rockies, 9-3. The Detroit Tigers beat the Angels 13-1. Nationals over the Reds, 4-1. Cardinals and the Mets, 5-4. And Brewers, the Braves over the Dodgers, 4-3. Today's games go this way. At 5:40 p.m., you have the Dodgers taking on the Marlins in Florida. 5:45, you have the Guardians taking on the Nationals in Washington. At 6:05, the Yankees host the Padres. And at 6:15, the Braves host the Reds. The Brewers host the Astros at 6:40. And the
that's
Cubs,
one we'll have on the channel tonight.
Gotcha. And the Cubs will take on the Giants. The White Sox will be going to Kansas City to take on them Royals. At 6:45, you have the Pirates taking on the Cardinals in the Lou. You have the Diamondbacks taking on the Mets. That's in the desert. And at 9:05 tonight, you have the Athletics taking on the Mariners in Oakland. Those are your games. And that is your Snowman scoreboard update.
Thank you very much. Now, come back from a break. I have a little message about Sabermetrics. It all sucks.
Yes, it does.
Hour 2 after this.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the probable pitchers.
Why are you push the button, man?
Shut up.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
During bad, SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like Boomstick Lady. No free throw is safe from the roar of her sticks. SeatGeek helps her find a seat in the direct eye line of the shooter so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Everybody okay? SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
This planet has been great to me. It's given me gifts that I can't even explain. It's given me adventures and memories I'll never forget. And Battleborn, I think, has given me the opportunity to go beyond and give something back. How can I be a better custodian to this planet and to the place I live? That's where I am with Battleborn. Let's make the planet a better place.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kermit the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green.
That's how I become a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts. Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Ronel Blanco goes for the Astros, and it's Tobias Myers that will go for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's one of the games we will cover tonight live on Snowman Sportsnet. 7:30 is our pregame time, presented by SeatGeek. The other game that we'll take a look at, the San Francisco Giants at 22-13, I beg your pardon, battle the Chicago Cubs. They're at 21-14, and that will also pitch at 7:30. So
Wednesday is the place to be for sports talk. You got my man Dustin and Ryan McCarthy on No Credentials Required. And then, of course, you also have up in the East, them champs known as the Eagles and the Eagles Elite Podcast headed by Cool Breeze McCain.
And the return of that 49er show will come your way on Wednesday, 9 p.m.
All right.
9 p.m. Actually, let me change that. It's Thursday. Thursday. It's 9 p.m. Don't want to give Eagles Elite and No Credentials their love on their days. So 49er show will return Thursdays, 9 p.m. beginning this week. Okay. I have something to say about sabermetrics.
You know what? I have a suggestion.
Uh-oh.
What grinds your gears in sports? What is like the thing that you hate about whatever sport you watch, whether it's auto racing, whether it's billiards, whether it's football, not fan bases. I'm talking about something within the confines of the game. You got sabermetrics.
There.
Okay.
Analytics.
Why do you hate analytics?
Because it doesn't get the
Woosah.
Why do I have a feeling that I'm going to need to be pushing a button here shortly?
I'll do it for you.
I also want to know Dog's answer.
Dear Analytics, you. Dear Sabermetrics, you for ruining baseball, you Dear Analytics, when it comes to the four majors, you, and you.
What about you, Dog?
He has an answer.
I've got an answer, but for that to happen, I got to open the garage.
Not so fast.
Hey,
what?
You wanted my answer? I got to go to the garage to get it. So you want to know what grinds my gears when it comes to auto racing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing is when the sanctioning body rests on its laurels to the point where they're sacrificing TV ratings and the fan base.
I've heard that before.
The reason I say that is because of the fact of the product that we have on track right now with NASCAR. Yes, the Gen 7 car has its moments where it's brilliant, but for the most part, the car sucks.
Right.
You took my words.
Now, the thing about it is, yes, we're going to see wrecks and flips at places like Daytona and Talladega, but last year we saw somebody go over at Las Vegas and we saw somebody flip over at Michigan. That shit's not supposed to happen.
Right.
Now, the biggest thing is when these cars get sideways and barely have a little bit of lift on either side, it immediately goes over because of the way the underside of the car is designed, basically like a flat board. Literally, the wind will pick it up and kick it over. There's ways to fix that, but NASCAR refuses to do it.
Right.
And there's also ways to fix the product of the sport by giving the drivers what they want, and that is throttle response, i.e. horsepower.
Right.
But yet again, NASCAR says no. We like what we see here. We don't see where there's any problems. You don't realize that your ratings are in the shitter and have been for the longest time because you can't be consistent in your rule book. You can't be consistent in your car. You can't be consistent in your playoff running.
I guess in the way that they look at it is like the true fans will understand.
Playoffs? You kidding me?
They're running the true fans from the track, and they're trying to go after the young fan base.
Yeah.
No, Paul Allen, I'm not kidding you. Trust me, I need therapy as well as you do when it comes to this. That's the biggest problem I have with NASCAR is the fact that they are unwilling to budge from what they feel they're doing is right. But yet again, this is supposed to be a fan-driven sport, and the fans are saying you guys are screwing up.
Right. And they're not listening to them.
Exactly. They screwed up, Al Michaels.
He did what?
Exactly. And the thing about it is, you've even got some of the names, the biggest names of the sport, saying things need to change, and NASCAR's not listening to them. You've got an owner. You've got ownership saying, team owners, Denny Hamlin and Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Right.
I'm sorry. What was that second name again?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
That's what I thought you said.
Co-owner of 2311 Racing.
There is just something about that number. And LeBron, it ain't you. I'm sorry. Go
on. No, but the reason why the NBA is failing is, well, yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It will forever be you. Forever and ever. And the church all rose and won and said,
Amen.
Now get the fuck out of my garage, LeBron. Now.
Too soon.
Fuck you. You screwed me up. Get me out of here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not mean to push the button.
Lord, ham, mercy.
Oh, my stomach hurts now.
I got nothing.
So now,
what grinds your gears, Victor, since you're the one that posed the question?
Okay.
Matter of fact, let me frame this one correctly since I'm pushing the wrong button here. What grinds Victor's gears? We'll find out in this version of the Random Thoughts of
So the term unsportsmanlike conduct just came to my peripheral vision past couple of days. Particularly comes to the NFL.
Again.
Yeah. The whole no taunting rule, all that type of stuff. And I said, never has there been a more useless penalty than that of the unsportsmanlike conduct. Let me explain.
Chad Johnson, anybody?
I have always been a fan of the celebration for touchdowns.
Didn't I talk about something like this a while ago?
I don't know. Did you?
I think I did. I think at one point I was talking about, just general, taunting in actual general, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever. I got nothing wrong with a good celebration.
I started watching some of the examples and I swore I put my head down in shame. How soft does the NFL, do the football players have to be to make a bow and arrow gesture a penalty?
About as soft as this guy.
I don't think Dak would get mad at that. I don't think we've ever seen
How soft, you ask?
Yes.
Let's think about that a minute.
How soft? About as soft as the hands of the massage parlor where this guy went.
Father had to send a stray.
You.
The father had to send a stray out.
You, and you.
But no, it's just I'm so tired.
I got a better idea.
Watch this.
I got a better idea. You know how soft it is?
Mm-hmm.
You know how soft it is?
You're fired.
That soft.
It ruins a lot of the feeling of the game for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like all of a sudden you see this monumentally awesome play, and taunting. You can't do that. Like that, don't let him score. Then
I'll still do it.
I'm so sick and tired of seeing these plays getting called. And back in the day, it was worse because they would actually take certain points off the board.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would.
And Playmaker's right. The NFL has a problem with celebrations. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
If you don't want players to celebrate, stop them.
If I have to run 100 yards to score, I'm going to be dancing.
Mm-hmm.
My knees will probably already give out, but I'm going to dance something.
You know what the NFL says stuff like that? Forgive me.
You know what? That makes me mad.
And then the finding afterwards.
Yeah.
You gonna find someone $13,000 for a celebration? Get the fuck out of here!
I mean,
$13,000.
It's not bad in the NBA.
I'm like, it's crazy to me. It is crazy to me how the game itself has gotten so soft. We could talk about the rough and the passer situation, how that's gotten softer and softer and softer every year. I swear,
even though Tom Brady,
they're going to end up getting called rough in the passer.
Even though Tom Brady's no longer in the league, it's getting softer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's getting worse.
And look, I understand if you don't want overly demonstrative ones, people being.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I always say this goes back, really, this whole thing brought my attention. You go all the way back to the Sharpie incidents.
Yes.
Terrell
Owens, when he was with San
Owens.
Francisco.
Mm-hmm. He did it in Seattle.
Yep, he did in Seattle. And if you watch that play, oh my God, the Seattle tackling was terrible.
The Seattle tackling was so horrific. The Seattle tackling was more horrendous than James Harden in Game 7.
Yes. And so, yeah, he said he took a Sharpie, signed the football, and gave it to one of his business partners.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
What's wrong with that?
You can't do that.
Okay. If they really wanted to bust people with props, why didn't they bust Joe Horn? With the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
Yep.
Why didn't they bust Chad Johnson?
Popcorn.
When he used the
popcorn.
not just the popcorn. I'm talking about when he used one of the goal the goal line stanchions as a putter.
Yeah. Yeah, I see people say you can't hug the goalpost. That's a penalty.
Bicycahima did.
It's like what?
You can't. What about jumping into the pot during the? What about jumping into the pot during the Dallas games during Thanksgiving?
Ezekiel Elliott did that.
Ezekiel Elliott did all that, and they got fined for that too. They got fined.
Ezekiel Elliott did that.
It's so maddening that you see this. Look, I'm not saying that, if someone does something that's over demonstrative, sure, get him for that.
Exactly.
But if you
keep
celebrate
points on the board, but then you zap them with 15 yards. The ball's already dead. The score is over. If he does something over the top, then that I can understand.
Yeah, I mean, if we got a wild and crazy team celebration, yeah, I could see that. But come on,
shoot, you look at some of the team celebrations that happened with Cam and the Panthers.
Yeah,
and that's where it got brought back up, the whole idea of excessive celebration. I use that quotation marks.
Same here.
Because Cam and the Panthers, they're just rubbing it in.
You ain't seen rubbing it in yet.
They just did a monumental play and got a touchdown. Yes, they have every right to do so. Don't like it, don't let them score. It's that simple.
If you want to really wipe out celebrations, why didn't they wipe out the high step of one Walter Payton?
Mm-hmm.
How about the high knees of one Roger Craig?
Yep.
How about
the high stepping of Deion Sanders? How
about the spiking of the ball by one Jerry Rice?
Oh, now they say you can't spike the ball either. They're starting to get people for that too.
Now, if they find George Kittle for spiking the ball, I'm going to climb through this monitor and yell at people. Because you ain't.
And if they did that during Gronkowski's time,
right.
Oh my gosh!
And Sick makes a valid point. The Sharpie incident. Don't forget about the Star Wars incident in the prior game.
Exactly.
It's just, are you like it? That's what grinds my gears. It's like something this petty. This is pettiness.
Again, look how bad it is in the NBA.
If you're mad about, I wasn't even mad when T.O. stood in front of the star, stood in the middle of the star.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a Niner or Eagle at the time?
He was a
Niner.
He was still a Niner. Yeah, he got plowed.
Matter of fact, did that twice. George Sweet plowed him the second time.
Yeah.
And then Emmitt Smith tried to do it, and then Terrell Owens plowed him.
Yeah.
But
T.O. did it the first time. Emmitt did it the second and got wrecked. T.O. did it the third time and got absolutely smacked.
By George Teague. And I talked to George Teague about that. He just simply said the players were just having fun. And of course, it was 2000. That's the height of the Cowboys 49ers rivalry.
Yes.
Exactly. That's part of it. If you're doing it to a rival, of course you're going to get your ass whooped.
But also, if you're doing it, it's still a matter of like, yo, this is all in good fun.
That's it.
It goes, what? Also, it kind of goes back to like the feud between Angel and Caitlin.
Oh, playmaker, really, really, playmaker. We have a dead ball foul on sportsmanlike conduct on Victor for grading on the NFL. It's a 15-yard penalty and will be enforced on the next segment.
First
touchdown.
I'll take it.
Use a troll. Troll. Use a troll. Troll. Use a troll. I said that use a troll.
You know what, Victor? I'll take it. Because this is what I'm standing on. There's a reason why many players have called the NFL the no fun league.
Mm-hmm.
This is why.
And so many people have, worked and worked and worked just to be part of this elite club known as the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Do not take one of the things that they can do, their creativity of doing, doing a celebration away.
If the NFL really wanted to be candy asses about things when it came down to celebrations, I got 2 words: dirty bird.
Dirty bird.
Whatever the hell it was. I forgot how it went because I used to do it often.
Remember the salute by with Terrell Davis?
Yeah. Why didn't they take that away?
Broncos? Yeah.
Why didn't they? The Mile High Salute with him and Howard Griffith, former Percy Julian Jaguar, by the way, folks. But I'm not supposed to know that kind of history. Listen, I'll close this up for Victor by saying this. Why don't you just ask the question when you look in the league office and Roger Goodell and go,
What is that? What the fuck is that?
It's like there's more things to be worried about than someone doing a dance at the end zone. If you don't like it, for all the teams who don't like it,
stop them.
Don't let them score. You know who said that? Not me. Michael Irvin said that.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love the playmaker. Those are the random musings of
Sad thing, sick, is there going to be people who want to see that. There are people who will want to see that. That's the sad thing, sick. Is there people who will want to see that?
I'm not one of them.
I'm not either.
I am not one of them.
Boy.
Yikes.
Yes, indeed.
It don't hurt our feelings none.
Not mine.
What a sad day was it on April 30th? Because
No.
we're now going to be hearing media personalities and dumb fans and
Like
Jordan
yourself.
fans and LeBron fans still say, but Jordan is great, but LeBron is great.
Michael on the drive across the lane. Turnaround shot. Got it. 63 for Jordan.
We're going to have the rest of the first round, the conference semifinals, the conference finals, and the NBA finals, and the offseason. And we're still going to be talking about your game. And that should be glorious. That is what should make you shout. Goodness gracious. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
What it makes me do is by stalking Excedrin because I get tired of hearing that crap.
Well, then OD on it. And tell your mob boss to OD on it too. Now, as I was saying.
Didn't you OD on it first?
No, baby. I OD on the money.
A ground ball past Jenks up the middle of the infield. Uribe has it. He throws. Out. A White Sox.
Telling me
Where the hell did I come up with that?
I have no idea.
telling me and the mob boss to OD on Excedrin. Okay.
He told you to OD on Excedrin.
Yes. The father and the mob boss to OD on
And the
Excedrin.
mob boss. Exactly. And while I'm thinking about it, folks, here's a few more minutes and we'll start from the beginning. Oh Jesus, why am I doing this? Ladies and gentlemen.
What?
It is time once again.
Oh no.
For the annual end of season LeBron James.
Oh, my child, welcome to the service. What can we do for you today?
Bro, don't go. Bro, don't go. Bro.
My child, it will be okay. It is not LeBron's fault that the team faltered.
He's under arrest.
I hate that Luca fool. Why? I like that Mr. Glass figure.
Mr. Glass figure. You're talking about Anthony Davis?
Yeah. That Brown fool. I wanted him that Slovenian dummy that can't stay on the court long. I can't play defense.
Arrest that man.
Well. To be fair to my child, LeBron could not play defense either.
And then, why did they hire JJ Redick? He don't know how to coach.
Well, JJ Redick didn't know what he was doing over at ESPN either. Let's be fair. My child, I did not know we entered SeaWorld.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah.
You're under arrest.
Detective, what are you doing here?
Everything's fine, Sister Mary. Everything is fine. You don't have to worry about it. There's always a calm before the storm. So that's what you experience in the storm. The calm will come. Please. I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself. That's right. I am the Deacon Pastor, Deacon Pastor Cardinal Bishop Winston Aloysius Jenkins.
Oh, Mr. Jenkins, you're the one that runs the City Fifth. And I was wondering who was running that dilapidated house. Mr. Jenkins, you might want to lay off. You might want to lay off on choking on things.
And remind me, who is this fellow that probably looks like the Penguin in them Batman movies, and is sounding as though he's being that dummy in the Leprechaun movies?
That was not right. That was not right.
Lord have mercy.
We're done. We will play that segment, God help me, in its entirety.
Oh, God.
Tomorrow. As for now, I got nothing.
Apparently, I need to go invest in a friggin' penguin suit.
Yeah, under arrest. What are you doing here?
I was wondering who was running that dilapidated house. You an asshole, Shane.
I'm just saying.
I know.
That dilapidated
But
house.
folks, that's just a little bit of the masterclass Cole threw at us. That's just a piece of it. That thing was 46 minutes.
46 minutes of pure 46
minutes of platinum.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Six Ziggy says, y'all are wild. That dude. Then we spent the first hour, and we were talking about this all the way up until showtime today. Spent the first hour ragging on LeBron and the Fakers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Getting ready to call it a day.
Yeah.
We were done. You understand me? We were finished.
We were.
Ouch.
Ow, that sound like that hurt.
God damn. Ouch.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. That some bitch microphone stand.
That
Anyway.
hurt.
You heard that vibration, right?
Yes, I did. Oh my God.
That was my hand.
Oh.
That was my hand. Son of a.
And did it again.
Meanwhile.
Okay. That entire segment from Thursday was 46 minutes.
46.
And we were going to call it before that.
Yes.
We were going to say we're done. We did say it. We made the decision on air. We didn't even do it during the break. On air.
Yeah, we're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear the pop backstage, and I was like, "Oh hell no, we ain't done yet."
And the thing is, when I queued up the break, it wasn't even the full 4 minutes. I must have played about 60 seconds of the break, and then we went right into it.
Right.
Y'all will hear the segment in its entirety during hour 2 tomorrow. Hour 1 will give us the playmaker. And Shooting Lights Out today will give us the playmaker, and he'll go off on James Harden even more than I did today. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. I'm going back to bed. See you tomorrow. And if you thought and Luka Doncic was going to lead the Lakers to a championship,
now that's some bullshit.
Luka Doncic.